Now, with the 34th Commissioner of the Fire Department of New York City, 2 years ago, she made history when she became the first woman in the 159-year history of the department to lead New York's bravest.
And what an appropriate song for this next lady that you're about to see as she prepares to leave the job. We are pleased to welcome FDNY Commissioner Laura Kavanagh. Bravo.
Thank you.
Congrats on the job that you've done, but why are you leaving? Tomorrow's your last day.
I know, it came up really fast. It feels very emotional and bittersweet. I definitely think they might have to, drag me out of there, but I will say, I was first deputy commissioner before I took this job, so I've been doing this for about 7 years. And imagine like a CEO job, which is really what the commissioner job is, plus you also get called 24/7. You have to go to the hospital. You have to give, family members the worst news of their life at times. You have to be all over the city in any kind of emergency. So it really is a job that you can't do for too long at 100%. And I've been at about 7 years of it. So it is time for me.
Passing the baton on.
Exactly, passing
else.
the baton. Yeah, a lot to be said about leaving jobs at the right time these days.
You are the first woman to hold this job. That has to be a weight that you recognize when you look back at it and the history that you've made doing this. Has that sunken in yet?
I think it hasn't. I do feel most days like the job feels comfortable to me. I feel like commissioner, but you do have these out-of-body experiences. Like I was doing a press conference after a big rescue that we did, and I felt like I'm the commissioner doing a press conference. This is normal. And I turn around and there's a man with his daughter there who taps me on the shoulder and said, my daughter just saw you do this, and like it opened her eyes to what's possible, and I almost started like crying in that moment because you really don't think about yourself as someone that people look up to. You just feel like you're doing the job that you've been trained to do. So it means a lot in those little moments. I don't think it's fully sunk in yet.
And speaking of that little girl, your impact will be felt for generations and generations to come. So what's your advice to those who look like you, to women and girls who want to follow in your footsteps in a male-dominated industry?
Yeah, I think most of all, I would say, don't be afraid, and I don't mean don't have fear. It's okay to be afraid, and also it's okay to do something new. I think, especially as women, we think, oh, I have to be 1,000% ready. I have to look like that guy that does the job, or I have to have his experience. And the whole thing about being first is you're first, right? There is no one who's done it like you, who looks like you. You kind of have to take the leap, and that's okay. And it's okay if you're not 100% ready. I've done tons of learning and coaching and getting mentored, and also just honestly, you face your fears about it. If I said I had to be fearless and totally ready to go, there would never be a first in this job.
And you can still put on your heels and be the FDNY
Exactly,
commissioner.
Yeah, you can be the commissioner in heels too. And a dress.
We were talking about this, but everyone loves firefighters. They just do. And you clearly love the firefighters that you work with. We were talking about the visits that you're doing to all of the firehouses. What do you want people to know about the type of person and the people who choose to be firefighters here?
Oh, that's such a good question. I'm going to include EMS in this as well, is that they are brave. Like, that's known, right? But really, it's their heart. I think that's what people don't always see. That's sort of behind the big red door. Truly is a community a lot of us need and probably are looking for after COVID. They take care of one another. When times are good, they all come and celebrate that victory for that person. When things are hard, they all show up and do whatever it takes to get that person through tough times. And so I really think it's the heart that they have about, community and one another, that I'd love people to know about them. That's maybe not as obvious as some of the heroic acts which we all see on TV, right? So we all know that.
What's your proudest moment? If you had to choose
Proudest
one.
moment? Oh, that's so hard. I honestly would say it isn't one big moment. It's going to the firehouses and EMS stations. It really is. There's nothing like it in this whole world. It's such a special place. And what I maybe hope is that the next commissioner takes that to heart. This is sometimes a job where people feel, it's very top down, you have to give orders. I really hope the next commissioner says, the place to be is at the kitchen table, as they say, and is a ground up leader. I think if I can change that and make that the model for going forward, I would be thrilled.
And that's where you were last night, eating dinner at the firehouse.
Yeah, I'm telling you, they had to drag me out of there. It was getting late, I had to be on TV.
And firefighters can throw down.
Oh yeah, yes. It was dinner, dessert. They taught me some magic tricks. I really was, close to staying. So it'd be hard to say goodbye to.
Commissioner Laura Kavanagh, thank you so much for being here. When we come back.